There we go. The red box is on. I'm looking inside that box. It states we are live, which of course means we are in fact live. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Harkins, your host for the Rock and Roll Channel on Talk Shop Live. And some context to this evening's show and guest. Man, I've been looking forward to this for some time. And while pondering what can this one man do to improve life on this planet today, I know it's a tall task, but an epiphany came to me like a shining light, catching the corner of my eye while I was driving the car, say 2 a.m. and coming from a White Castle drive-thru, or maybe it was a 7-Eleven. Either will serve its purpose. But Steve, I said to myself, more people need to hear the gospel. That's music, of course, from Hillbilly Vegas. And with that, I'll ask our guest if he would do the honors of introducing himself.
I am Steve Harris. I sing and help write songs for Hillbilly Vegas out of Oklahoma, which is where I'm at today. Steve H., good to see you.
Great to see you, Steve H. as well. Oklahoma-based Hillbilly, Texas, or I should say Vegas. Oops, that's a slip. Man, I owe him $5. I promise not to make that mistake again. Originally formed in 2011, influenced by classic rock legends such as Bad Company Free and ZZ Top, along with flavors of soul and American roots music. In 2011, their first album, Ringo Manor, was released, sold an incredible 10,000 copies out of the gate, driven by the hit single Little Miss Tough and Rough and Tumble. And the band, yeah, there we go, man. I'll get this straight after the next 5 minutes, man. I just got to get this behind us. But I got to go through. It's important. The band has gone on to chart 5 songs on Billboard's rock charts, including Let It Ride, which remained on the charts for 13 weeks and reached number 10. Feels Good, High Time for a Good Time, Hell to Pay, Two Gun Town, and fan favorite, Shake It Like a Hillbilly. The band has earned a reputation for some just barn-burning great live shows, and they performed with rockers like our good friends Blackberry Smoke, the Kentucky Headhunters, Wolfsbane, and also a former guest of ours as well, Ted Nugent, along with country icons Alabama, Travis Tritt, Blake Sheldon, and also Winona Judd, just to name a few. And tonight, we're celebrating the unveiling of a rock and roll masterpiece, in my estimation, from Hillbilly Vegas, entitled A La Mode. So, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Let's kick this show up. Brendan, if you would, please roll the video.
Thank you, Steve. You made it very easy for me.
Man, my adrenaline was already revved up, but that takes it to another level. I love that intro, but I'll tell you what, it's because of tonight's guest. Once again, welcome to Talk Shop Live's Rock and Roll Channel, the frontman, badass singer from Hillbilly Vegas, Mr. Steve Harris. Steve, man, thanks so much for being here this evening.
This is an absolute fantastic honor to be here, and thank you for having us.
You bet, man. I've been looking forward to this. And you said you're in Oklahoma. This is your home state. Is it Tulsa?
Well, no, we're near Tulsa. I'm in a little town called Poto, Oklahoma. It's French for post. And nice. I am actually a California native. Born in Orange County, grew up in California, and came here about 17, 18 years old. What
brought you there?
My father was a Baptist preacher. A church brought us here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And did that plant the seed from maybe a cadence as far as being a musician, the musicality?
Nah, man. Honestly, Keith Partridge and Mickey Dolenz on my TV reruns after school every day planted the seed.
I love that.
Just being honest with you, Steve.
I'll tell you what, man. Again, I told you before, man, we should form a club for sure. And I just want to tell fans, man, if you like to ask Hillbilly Vegas, Steve Harris, a question, or you have a comment, use the chat function, and I pledge to get to as many as possible. And Steve, I have a saying here that goes that, what you do is always affiliated with entertainment, but I think in today's somewhat contentious climate out there, that what you do is extraordinarily important, man. You set foot on stage with the band, and it doesn't matter what religious conviction or political affiliation one has. It's a unified front, man. Music, I think, is the one singular common thread we seem to have these days. So thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you very much. And it's our philosophy to leave all of that stuff out there, and
Yeah.
and just enjoy suspending reality for a moment. We'll boot it back up after the show, but we try to just turn off the spigot to the real world for however long we're up there.
I'll tell you what, man, it's modern medical music medicine that all of us need. So we really appreciate it. So do tell us, man, the origin behind the band name.
Man, honestly, I get that question all the time, and I usually have about 12 different answers for it. Really, we live in a place, I'll be honest with you, we live in a place here in Oklahoma where you can pull up to a gas station, if you will, and you can go in and there's a casino inside, there's fried food, you can fill up your tank, you can get a dream catcher, you can get probably an airbrushed wolf hat, and you can do it all in one stop. If that's not Hillbilly Vegas, Steve, I don't know what is.
I love it, man. That's a perfect answer for sure. What I was hoping for, and man, congratulations on this killer album. And I'm not, just saying that, to hype things. Man, this is one of my favorites, man, in quite a long time. You guys really delivered a great rock album, and I have to believe you feel really good about it.
We do feel good about it. It was, I'm going to tell you, it was a journey. It was a tough make. It was, we did it all ourselves. We didn't use any outside studios. No outside producers. First time ever, we self-recorded, self-produced, and did it all by ourselves. And it was not an easy journey, Steve, but in the end, we're very happy with what we came with.
What were some of the challenges you're faced with? Was it, the cost, or was it just, getting to the point where it's like, okay, until it feels right, you got to keep moving along and pushing?
Well, thinking it was going to be a little easier than it really was, because, we've been in studios for years. We know what we're doing, and we do. But when you don't have anybody else to yell at but yourselves, it gets contentious sometimes. I will admit that I've slammed the door or two and walked out on everybody, and everybody wanted to kill each other a time or two. But we knew we were doing something good, and we knew we had the songs, and we were creating something that we would be proud of. So the biggest challenge was just getting through it just by ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. We have a saying here, which I think you'll appreciate, which is being in a band is like being married without the benefits. You can get back to me on that one, but nobody got hurt, right? At the end of the day, you guys are still together, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and strong, really happy. So
yeah, that's amazing, and I'm so glad you answered. My next question was, who produced this album? So it was kind of like proxy by the whole band. It was you guys, huh? I mean, the production's amazing on this record. You guys kill it.
I have to give credit, more credit to Geraldo Dominelli, our rhythm guitarist, who is our second lead guitarist and keyboardist. Geraldo really took it in and cut it up and fixed a lot of things. He added background vocals, and he helped a lot with the arrangements. And it really, I would say it starts with what he's so good at, and then collective effort after that, once we start fighting about what we like and don't like. But Geraldo really has to get the credit for being the guy who got it in place.
I'm glad you singled him out particularly, for those of you out there that maybe think that name sounds somewhat familiar. The guy has been with Loverboy. He was affiliated with one of our all-time favorites, Paul Rodgers, so he's got a good pedigree.
Yeah, Geraldo's been touring as a keyboardist and rhythm guitarist with Loverboy on and off since '89. He's a fill-in guy for their guy, and he's to this day still does shows with them. As a matter of fact, we got a lovely message from Mike Reno today on the release of the Paul Rodgers collaboration, Mr. Midnight. So nice. They've been very nice to us, and it's always nice to hear from somebody like Mike Reno that he likes what we're doing. Yeah, Geraldo's an amazing talent.
I'd like to also call out the other boys in the band. You got Stacy Thornburg on guitar and vocals. Man, there's some blazing great riffs on this album.
Stacy he's an incredible singer, and he plays guitar like he sings. You know what I mean? He's so melodic, and I can always sing his solos, and that's what always draws me to his writing and his playing, and his riffs are really cool. And Stace is just, he's our rock, man. He does everything for us, and it's his sound that makes us sound like we sound.
Yeah, good call out on that one. And Todd Ronning, who's the bassist, he worked with Bad Company, right?
Yeah, from 2012 to just recently, and all the way up through Paul's last solo album. Todd was a part of that as well, and Todd was a member of Bad Company for over a decade. He came in, and one of the longest serving bass players after Boss. And,
right.
And he's just amazing.
Absolutely right, and didn't want to leave this gentleman out, but man, he's like the heartbeat on this album, man. Just the pulse, Gunnar Moulton on drums.
Yeah, Gunnar, he's younger than the rest of us, and he brought the media age of the band down a little bit. We appreciate that very much. He brought such energy, and besides being a great drummer, he's technologically he's a wizard. He does a lot. He's great in the studio as well, and he's one of the reasons also we felt like we could self-record, because he's a fantastic engineer in his own right.
So to be honest, because he's young, maybe doesn't have the experience, he's the guy that you really wanted to hit more times than not, right? No, I'm just kidding.
No, Geraldo.
Right, there we go, for the record. Of course, it's always the guy who brings it to the table, right? Has a lot of thoughts in his head for sure, man. But man, kudos again, man, on the production and the album cover art, man. Had to call that out as well.
Our tour manager, Joe Ward, G.I. Joe, we call him. He's also a professional photographer, and he had a friend, and he and a friend of ours that we worked with named Brock. Also, he's a drummer. They did that cover for us in a motor home, and we just thought it was hilarious. We didn't
absolutely.
We just thought it was so funny, and my brother put the artwork together. After that, we keep it in the family. We're one of the typical Southern rock bands. We just keep it in the family.
We love that for sure, man. I'm always fascinated about the songwriting process, and Steve wanted, to have you kind of walk us through it. Quite often, describe one approach is like you're the chosen one, or like a vessel where like these random thoughts or ideas. It could be a hook, it could be a melody line, it could be a lyric, a line itself, a chord progression, or even like a rhythm or beat or something that kind of plants the seed. And then there's the other side of it where some sit down and say, man, it's like workshop. I'm just gonna knock out everything that comes to mind and see if anything sticks. So curious, from your perspective and the guys, how did you guys approach songwriting? Because top to bottom, man, there was just like no filler on this, man. Every song stands out, man, top to bottom.
Well, on this particular song, on this particular album, excuse me, Steve, the guys all have home studios, and to be honest with you, they slam me constantly. Even now the album's over, I've got a dozen songs that they send me. They send me demos, music demos.
Uh-huh.
And to be honest with you, when I listen to it, I know within the first 30 seconds or a minute, for me, the way I write, it paints me a picture. And if I can see that picture, I see it like a movie. I'm a TV person. If I see it like a movie, I can write it. You know what I mean? And so I usually see the entire story, even if I don't know what all the words are going to be. I see the entire story within just a minute of hearing the music. And if I don't see a story, I don't see a movie, I just kind of put it to the side. And so that's really how it works for me as a writing the melodies and the lyrics and things like that. And then sometimes I write my own music, and I'm good enough. I'm a good enough player to write music. I'm not a great guitar player by any means. And so I stay out of that lane for the other guys, but I can write enough to write music. And sometimes, in the case of a song on the album called Find Me Yesterday, I put that music together and I sent it to Geraldo, and he cleaned it up for me. But generally, they'll send me the demo. I'll listen to it for a while. And my favorite way to write is just to get in the car by myself and listen to it. And if it's driving music for me, it's got to be driving music for somebody else too, right?
That's exactly right, man. I love that practice, man. I'm big proponent of that approach for sure, man. Unless somebody's laying on the horn, that's a great way to just be by yourself undisturbed,
Absolutely.
So tell us about the touring. I mean, we're seeing some of the fans want to know. Mitch is saying, "Hey, will there be a tour for this album?" Man, this album, again, man, even the ballads would lend itself to just, I think transposing live just amazingly well.
Yeah, there will be a tour. It'll be our first tour of America since 2023 when we toured with Ted Nugent on his Adios Mofo tour for a couple of months.
Yeah.
We've done 5 tours overseas since then, and it's finally time to come back home. And I know who we're touring with, and I know what we're doing. I can't tell you because it's not signed yet, but there will be a summer tour and a fall tour. And yeah, dates are coming soon. We're so excited to get out there and play these songs live. We've been playing some of them live for a little bit, overseas. A few of them have been in our set, especially last summer. But a lot of them we haven't. And so we're really excited to get out there and see what they do. And just excited to see people and meet people and play songs for people. I love, from where I stand, I have the best seat in the house. I can just look down and I can see faces. And I can see when they like it, when they don't like it. I can see what they're doing. And my favorite thing is to interact with people. And if they're understanding the story we're telling, that's just like saying stick them to a hound dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I'll tell you what, man, there's nothing that's more upsetting than, introducing a new song and it turns into, a bathroom break or a beer run.
Yeah. We've seen those in the past. Fortunately, we've been pretty lucky of late, but yeah, everybody has them. And
I don't think that's going to happen with this album and any of the tracks you select. I mean, even if you haven't heard it.
The songs in the past that it has happened with, we just retired. So
there you go. Yeah, and it was like that's all you needed to go through, right? It's like, we're done with this.
See that a time or two, and that's out.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I want to call out some of the fans who picked up copies of this great album: David, Rod A, also Christopher C, Brian C, Stephen, Michael. There's many of you others too that we'll call out. Margaret saying hey there and really appreciative, Steve, you taking the time to share with the fans and with us here on the Rock and Roll Channel.
Well, we appreciate so much. Hello to everybody. I'm pretty open book when it comes to answering questions. So, whatever you got, we'll answer. And thank you so much for purchasing the album. You know what? We signed them all. We enjoyed it. It's exciting to do something like this. We've never been on a show like this before. And it's quite an honor. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what. I hope I don't ruin the latter half of that, man. I'll do my best to deliver, man. I don't want to let you down. But Carrie's saying, appreciate that, and Carrie's saying, hey, curious to find out what the inspiration is behind a la mode. So I'm gonna translate that into where the title come from, right?
Oh, Steve, titling albums is such, to me, it's such like, I don't know. Do I get deep and do we get some meaningful title, or do we get silly, or do we do this time we got silly, to be honest with you. You know what my philosophy is? Everything's better with ice cream. That's just all I can tell you.
Yeah. Well said, for sure. Everybody can fill in the blanks. I mean, just like a song, it's open to interpretation.
What was Eat a Peach about? I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, but it's a Southern thing, so it ties in. Yeah, for sure, and great album, as a matter of fact. So, so we're keeping with the theme there for sure. Jason wants to know how you would describe the sound and the feel of this album. That's sometimes, I think, a tough question to ask the creator of it, because you're not intentionally writing or recording to try to fit into a box necessarily.
No, and ultimately the people decide, but I will tell you that the feel is 100% us. We don't use tracks. We don't use any tricks. It's 100% us. No auto-tune. If I sing a bad note, I'm leaving it on there because that's how it felt at the moment. Yeah. And what I really want people to know is that even when they're silly songs or whatever, they're our story. And the album from 1 to 11 is a story. And I hope that everybody buys into that story and enjoys it and feel something from it, just like we did.
Yeah, I love that. And, this is from Joseph C. who'd like to know how many songs were actually recorded for the album. And I'm going to kind of add to that. What were there tracks that didn't make the cut?
No.
I love that. That's amazing.
We wrote 9 songs and did 2 songs from other writers on the album. And that was it. There was no fallback plan, Steve. That was going to be it.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, you figured, okay, we spent enough quality time in the studio together, man. We got to call it. We need to get out, break out for sure. That's when
I mean, I'd love to tell you, oh yeah, we recorded 20 songs, picked out the best ones, had a party and everybody listen and vote. Now, man, that was all we had at the moment, and we have a bunch since then. We can't wait for another album, but listen, we decided to go for it.
I think on the flip side of it, I think that's quite a statement because, as I said, man, every track absolutely delivers. So the fact that that you left some stuff on the table because it didn't make the cut, I think it's a testament that every track delivers. So Alex wants to know, hey Steve, do you usually start with lyrics or riffs when writing a song for an album like A La Mode? I mean, we talked about the construction of songwriting,
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I have a book that I keep with me, and I have a couple of them. My favorite one is one that I bought in the gift shop at Abbey Road, and that's just because the vibe of it. It's just felt cool to be there. Yeah. But I have a book, and it's probably got 100 lyrics in it. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't use any of them. I always think, oh, I'm going to save this for later. I'm going to use this down the line. And then I get the music and I get a totally different idea. So I've got about 100 unused lyrics. And honestly, if the inspiration doesn't hit me right that moment, I just kind of, it's gone. I may come back to them someday. I don't know. But no, it all starts a different way. But with me, it just has to paint a picture and make me want to tell a story. Because I'm a storyteller, ultimately. That's what I take pride in, telling stories. And so if I can tell a story, then it's going to be a song.
I'll tell you what, don't throw away that book because, there's some great musicians and songwriters that have said, yeah, man, I dumped a bunch of ideas, on a file or if they're old school on a CD or even a cassette and just, gathering dust for years. And then it's like, okay, man, let's just go through it and see why I hung on to it. And then all of a sudden it sparked an idea. So not for you to worry about now, but, trust me, don't throw it away. You might be surprised sometime down the road.
I don't throw it away because there's always this paranoia in the back of my mind, this manic part of me that thinks that I'm going to get writer's block and someday I'm going to need, that's like having money in a bank. You know what I mean? It's like in case of emergency, break glass and have lyrics. And somehow, thank God, it's always come to me when we start writing. And if it doesn't, I just move on to the next song. I don't really dwell on it very long.
I love it. Just serves as, inspiration, motivation for you to, keep delivering. So, man, it serves a purpose, if nothing else, from that end.
Yeah. And it just works that way.
That's right. You know what else works that way? I've seen the future. Apparently, I have this uncanny ability, and it's bright as a nova. Man, tonight we're celebrating the forthcoming release from Hillbilly Vegas entitled A La Mode. As you've heard, it features 11 killer tracks. And, the old school corny saying, all killer, no filler. That's absolutely true in this case, man. These guys delivered an amazing album. It rocks, it boogies, over the top great ballads that throw in measure too. As I said, top to bottom, it's truly one of the best rock albums that come around in recent memory. So good. I will stand behind it 100%. When you buy this record and you listen to it, if you don't agree with me, you just send me a note at steve@talkshop.live and I will make it right. That's how strongly I feel about this record that Steve and the guys have delivered. And the album is releasing on Friday, May 8th. However, Rock and Roll Channel fans on TalkShop Live can purchase their copies right now. And as Hillbilly Vegas's way of thanking you, fine fans. Steve, it's not just you, it's the entire group of guys that have signed this?
Yeah, all 5 of us signed the album.
That's amazing.
We don't want to shortchange anybody. We want to make sure that Geraldo's known for his muscles, and we want to make sure Geraldo's fans got it and everybody else's fans got it. And of course, listen, we understand that Todd brings a big following with him from Bad Company.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want to shortchange anybody. So we made sure that everybody's signature is on the album, every one of them. So you will get that. And we appreciate you very much for grabbing that album early. Thank you.
So you've heard the man. You know what? Order your copies right now. Hit the shop button on TalkShop Live on Facebook and Instagram, comment shot. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we just hit the in the description box, just hit the link in there and we'll DM you a link. Same is true on Instagram and Facebook. We'll DM you a link. Click it. The rest is quick, easy, and pain-free. unlike the slight arthritic condition that Steve and the boys from Hillbilly Vegas may have developed. Signing for you fine fans, but I think they're well on the road to recovery. And you know what? There's no greater way to show how much you appreciate some great new rock music that's unleashed by one of my now favorite bands, Hillbilly Vegas, than by owning a copy of this amazing album, a la mode. Steve, what say, we play some music. Nothing speaks more than the sound.
Let's do it.
All right, outstanding. So here we go. This is the opening track from a la mode. Here's Miss America. Brendan, if you would, please roll the digital. Man, that's Miss America out of the gate, man. Full guns blazing, just a killer vocal, killer track, man. I think they're still scraping me off the walls, man, Steve, after listening to this for probably 3 or 4 times, man. Holy hillbillies, man. Insert the mic drop here. This one's worth the price of alone. In fact, on behalf of the Rock and Roll Channel, by the power vested in me, Steve, I hereby declare Hillbilly Vegas and Miss America better than a Keith Richards blood transfusion. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. You know how exciting it is for me to have somebody else hear that song finally. We're the only ones that have heard it for a long time. So
I'll bet. Yeah, it's got to be cathartic, therapeutic for you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And speaking of Keith Richards, we did an open G tuning on that one. Todd came up with that riff first, and
I love it.
And, a la Keith Richards, open G. There you go.
Love it. There we go, man. In keeping with the theme, and that was not rehearsed, ladies and gentlemen. I just dropped that announcement on Steve Live. So
right there,
man. Down the honky tonk, man. This one's an instant saloon barroom anthem, monster guitar chords, rhythm, and vocal, and we'll bring the jukebox back in a major way, I predict. And this one was written by Frankie Miller, man, classic originally for those of you that weren't hip to it, from I think 1977. But what I love is, man, you guys made this one your own.
Frankie is and was an amazing talent. So many people cite him as an influence, including Bob Seger. They Ain't Got No Money. It's a Frankie Miller song, Bob Seger song.
Right.
And when I discovered Frankie Miller, I knew that it's guys like Paul Rodgers and Frankie Miller that I told you about Keith Partridge and Mickey Dolenz and all this stuff, but once my ears actually caught up, it was, you got to find some singers, and to me it was those guys, and Frankie just embodies coolness, man. And I don't know if I got there, but I sure enjoyed and have enjoyed singing Frankie's song, because Frankie's just one of those guys that I just love.
It explains to your vocal approach. I was really impressed. I mean, we were listening to Miss America, how you know, you have all these unique dynamics in how you approach your vocal. Like the verse has kind of more of that melodic influence that you have. And then, man, is like full throttle throat, but it's still melodic at the same time. You know, almost reminded me a little bit of like a Bon Scott vibe, man. Just had that energy and that excitement. And so,
Thank
you know,
because I love
yeah, your influences, and then you put your thumbprint on it on top of it. I just, you know, love how you tackle the approach song by song and serve it.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Bon Scott is another one that I thought just was an amazing, unique. And, you know, for me, being unique is one of the most important things you could do, having your own thing. And I try to do that. But the guys that I love the most are iconic and have their own thing. And you know instantly who they are. And to me, that's always one of those things that just gets me so excited. You hear that voice and you know immediately. You don't have to be told. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. Totally. Yeah. And I feel that way when I hear you guys, man. Let It Ride, man. It's such a badass track. It's funky. It rocks. It's got a great groove. I mean, over the top vocal again, man. And the band is firing on all cylinders. Just love this one. I mean, I love them all, but man, this one spoke to me. So, Steve, tell us the story behind Let It Ride.
Let It Ride. You know, I use a falsetto in to get a little technical. I use a falsetto voice. You know, the all these bridges burning. You know, I just want to do that. You know what? And you know why? Because
Yeah.
Glenn Hughes did it. Glenn Hughes would do things like that. He wasn't afraid to do that. Glenn's not afraid. Why should I be afraid, right? Glenn Hughes is another one that was just such a talent. And so I just wanted it to have a little bit of that soulful funk falsetto thing in it. And, you know, sometimes with Let It Ride, the theme behind the song is, you know, give up the unimportant things and just stick with what's important. You know,
That's
what's
right.
important to you. Find your why and give everything else and do that. Give everything else up and pursue your why. If you know what your why is, you're going to be okay. And that's really what Let It Ride's all about.
Love it. Gospel again, according to Steve Harris, man. I'm not just a believer. I'm a fan club member for sure. And man, every jukebox in town, mission is clear. I think there's a common thread here. Own every jukebox in the country, man. And you guys are 2 for 2 as far as thematically, musically. You know, I think after this one, Hillbilly Vegas is well on their way. And I got to quote you on this, Steve, if I have this right. Country songs have always been about the 3 F's. And please do tell Steve, what are the 3 F's?
Oh.
Or we can move on. It's your
Fighting's
show,
one
man.
of them.
Yeah, you know what? We'll leave something to the imagination. What are the other
I think
2?
everybody knows what the 3 F's are. But you know what?
Yeah.
That song, I got to give a shout out to a couple of guys on that song. Our original guitarist, Johnny Reed, Johnny Ringo, started the band with me, an amazing talent. And then another guy that was in the band with us early on, a great friend, Kerry Plummer here, that I know in my little town is a good songwriter. And the 3 of us came up with that one together, the music and everything. And it was just fun. You know what I mean? We went to Nashville. We went to Nashville and they said, I love everything about you guys. The guy in Nashville, I love everything about you guys, except for these 8 things that I'm going to change. And then it became 16 things he was going to change. And then 20 things he was going to change. And you know, and the moral of the story is they didn't love everything about us. And to me, it just felt like I was angry when sarcastic when I wrote the lyric and the idea behind that song. And it ended up becoming kind of funny and fun. And we had the 3 of us had a good time writing that. And those guys were a major part of writing that song with me. And I appreciate their talents very, very much. But it was a lot of fun on that one. It ended up being a song that I was kind of angry about and ended up being more funny than anything. And we had a good time.
Funny how that works out sometimes, the magic of music and song, right?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Jason wants to know, Steve, what's your favorite song to perform live? Or is there one? I know sometimes that's a tough call.
Man, as far as our original songs, I love them all. It's like children, you know, your children, you don't want to tell which one's your favorite. You might have one, but you don't tell anybody. But my favorite song to perform live, honestly, is when we do our encores, because we get to play somebody else's song. A lot of times we'll pull out we do Walk All Over You by AC/DC a lot of times, and I love to sing Bon Scott.
Love it.
We do Funk 49 sometimes by you know, of course, the great Joe Walsh, who we love. And to be honest with you, I like those because I can just let go and have a good time. And I like everybody else to find their favorite. And, but I'll tell you, Shake It Like a Hillbilly is a song that really gave us our first bit of notoriety and gave us our first voice. And so I have to be thankful for that song every night. And every night that song delivers over and over and over again. And I will never, ever get tired of playing that song as long as somebody smiles when we do it.
Love that. You know, the gift that keeps on giving. It's something special about that one for sure. And Chandra, just want to thank you for being here. And she wants to know, what song are you looking for fans to hear the most? Again, this from the album, probably a similar response as far as, all these resonate.
Yeah, but I want people to find their thing in them. You know what I mean? And
I do.
I hope that the lyrics are printed on the album, by the way, so you can read them. And I hope that you'll read the lyrics when you get the album. And I hope that you'll find a little bit of you and find the favorite song that you want to hear us sing in there more than anything, because as much as those songs are personal to me, I leave a little room so they can be personal to somebody else too. You know what I mean? And so I really hope that people will find, if they're invested enough, that they will find their favorite one in there and enjoy it and feel it just like I felt it when I was writing it.
Yeah, I really love that. It's the evaluation of when you're recording it or when you're constructing the song. Those are yours. But once you hit that send button to have it mastered and produced, now you're turning it over to the world, right? It's no longer yours. You're sharing it with everyone.
Yeah, and I hope that everyone is glad we shared it with them. That there's always that fear a little bit that as happy as you are with them, the people still got to like it, and it's still got to resonate with them. And I hope it does, because we feel really good about this album. We feel really good about the stories that it tells, the energy that it has, and man, I don't know. I feel good about it, and I think that there's been good response so far. I hope it's hit number 20 this week, and it's still going.
Congratulations.
And then Mr. Midnight, the song we did with
Yeah.
Paul, has debuted very well today, and so very exciting.
Yeah, you delivered, man. I'm telling you for sure. I want to thank Pam and also Rocky JB Sumter, who's saying, "Great job, Stevie. Fan of your voice for many years."
Thank you very much. That's a guy. That's a name I recognize. That's a really good guy here in our little town. I live in a small town, Steve, and I've recognized, that's the first name I've recognized. But thank you, Rocky. Appreciate it. Rocky's a musician in his own right, and he's a really good guy. And he, when my mother passed away a couple of years ago, he was really instrumental in helping us through that with some of the work that he does, and I'll always be grateful for him for that.
Yeah, sorry for your loss, and no, it's never easy. The Gunner wants to know, what is your favorite food on tour, and also, what are your thoughts on haggis? You don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
Oh no, man, we're foodies actually. We always end up in the kitchen of everywhere we go. We could have our own food show, I guess. There's a million of them, but we always end up in the kitchen talking to the owner. We don't just choose some fast food all the time. We try to find interesting things. And my wife, when I was in Scotland, we were playing a show, and I texted her and texted her a menu of the she's back home. Texted her a menu of the backstage hospitality room that they had, and she said, "Hey, why don't you let the fans vote on that?" And so I did, and they voted haggis.
I love that.
Obviously, this is someone that follows our social media. And so we ate haggis, and we ate haggis two ways. First of all, just backstage on a plate. And then our buddy Gordon Grubb, who you might have seen get thanked by Simon Kirke at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and in a couple of Bad Company documentaries. Gordon is a longtime assistant of Paul's, and he started doing some of that same thing for me when we tour overseas. He's an amazing guy, and he bought us this spread at the hotel that night, and one of them was a haggis burger. So I ate haggis twice that day. It's okay. It's okay. Some of the other guys liked it better than me, but I tried it, and I'm not gonna say anything bad about the famous Scottish food. It was great, and we enjoyed it a lot. But we enjoy food, and I think my favorite food overseas is Italy. They don't make anything bad. I'll be honest with you. So
there you go. good to know. I'll be heading there shortly. It sounds to me like we need to invite you and the guys back, man, just for a food show.
We would do it. We've been offered a food show a time or two and didn't have the time, or it didn't work out here or there. But we are always open if anybody wants to put us there. We'll even write a song about the food as we enjoy.
All right, that's my homework assignment. I'm going to put together, a proposal for you and management to consider. Hopefully, you guys return my calls after that. And you know what? I just want to say tonight we're celebrating again this amazing new album from Hillbilly Vegas titled A La Mode. 11 killer tracks. These guys absolutely delivered. And I say this with all sincerity, just a great rock album. And if you don't agree with me, you just send me a note at steve@talkshop.live. I'll make it right because I have it on good authority. There won't be any qualms about this one when you hear it. It releases officially on Friday, May 8th, which I suspect can't come soon enough for Steve Harris and the guys. And Rock and Roll Channel fans can purchase their copies right here, right now. And it's the band's way of thanking you, fine fans. Man, doesn't get any better than this. Steve and the guys have graciously agreed to sign a limited number of copies purchased here. Show how much you appreciate those guys, man. This is a work of passion from their hearts and their souls, man. Order your copies by hitting the shop button on Talk Shop Live on socials like Facebook and Instagram. Comment Shop will DM you a link. The rest is quick and easy. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description and we'll take it from there. There's no greater way to celebrate an amazing album than by owning this copy of work. Streaming serves its purpose song by song, but this is an amazing body of work top to bottom. Find Me Yesterday, great ballad, and I love the fact that you guys deliver on all fronts. It's not all high octane, although it still has energy. Massively great vocal and track, and this one to me, Steve, feels like an instant classic. Man, just fantastic. Kudos.
Thank you very much. I think that was probably the hardest one for me to write. Right, that's the music that I wrote and sent to Geraldo, and he helped me out with. When my mother passed, it was touch and go for my mom. She had cancer, and I kept getting reports while we were on the road with Ted. Yeah. And Ted called me in his dressing room one day, and I went in there and he put his arm around me, and his son Rocco grabbed the phone and took a video. And Ted told my mom that he was praying for her and how much he cared about us and everything, and that he wanted her to just know that we were doing good work out there and I was coming home to her soon. And it meant the world to me. And we did make it home in time to spend some time with her. And the day she passed, I was sitting on my couch and looking out the window. My mom's favorite bird is a redbird. Yeah. And the redbird lands on my back deck and just sits there and stares in the window at me while my mother's wind chimes were blowing. And it's uncomfortable for me to write deeply personal songs. I'll be honest with you. I'm more of an observational writer. Right. And that song came to me right then. I wrote the music and the lyrics right that moment. And I held on to it for a little while before I showed it to anybody because, again, I'm not the biggest touchy-feely guy, so it was kind of a difficult thing for me. But I'm glad I did because my intention for the song was just something personal. And Geraldo actually turned it into that big power ballad thing, and I got to give him credit for that. He did a fantastic job with it. And then the guys on the guitar and just everything with it, it just turned it into a bigger song than I intended it to be. And it was never intended to be on the album, to be perfectly honest with you, Steve. And once I heard it, I thought about it a while, and I realized it's got to go. It's got to go. I want other people to hear that. And really the message is sometimes when you don't know how to move on, don't until you're ready. Just go back and relive some of those good times until you're ready to move on. And that's kind of what that was about.
I'll tell you what, it's going to serve a number of purposes. I think one is it keeps the legacy of your mother alive as far as, this beautiful track. But I think it's also going to speak to a lot of people who are, dealing with challenges themselves. So I think it's going to really help a lot of people. So I'm grateful that you followed through and decided to share this with everyone.
Yeah, I'm glad I did. Like I said, sometimes those are difficult for me, but I'm glad I did.
I'll tell you one I think isn't difficult, man. That's this next track we're going to play.
Right.
And I'm not going to build up a whole lot other than to say it's Mr. Midnight featuring the great Paul Rodgers with Steve Harris and the band. So, Brendan, if you would please roll the digital.
Shining in my eyes. I don't look down, too busy looking up at the stars. That's why they call me. They call me Mr. Midnight. Let me show you around my town. Baby, you can hold me tight, but you can never hold me down.
Yeah, people are, throwing virtual darts at me saying, Steve, why'd you cut it off? You know how it works here at Talk Shop Live. You hear a great track like that. You want to hear the rest of it, you got to buy the album. That's kind of how it works here. Sorry. But I think you can also hear it elsewhere as it was just unveiled publicly today.
The video today. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, man, written by our good friend, Paul Rodgers, who's been on a couple times here, and appropriately so, and took way too long. Recent Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. And of course, he wrote it and he guests on it. Man, great rendition. It's Southern rock boogie at its finest, and amazing song once again reimagined here by you guys. Steve, your thoughts about laying down this track with the great Paul Rodgers? It had to be almost like an out of body experience.
Well, listen, man. I told the guys, I said, hey, man, you guys got the easy part. I have to sing a Paul Rodgers song, and then Paul has to hear it. You know what I mean? And I heard Paul's demo, and I immediately told David, we share a manager, David Spiro, and I told David, I don't know what the hell am I going to do with that? That's perfect. Yeah. I'm hearing it on a phone. I'm hearing it, in a rehearsal hall, and it sounds like the guy who sings Rock and Roll Fantasy and Can't Get Enough of Your Love and all that. It's Paul defined the way we all listen to rock and roll. I'm right, Steve? I know, and,
absolutely.
And so I said, hey, listen, I got the hardest job here. I got to sing, and he's got to hear it. And so you know what? I just decided, what the hell? I just went in there and I sang it how I was going to sing it. I threw a couple of things in there that I knew that Paul did on the demo, but otherwise I just did what I did. And I got the most, I'll be honest with you, Paul and I haven't been in the same room together, but we've exchanged emails. And so I know... Yeah. Did an interview earlier and it said that Paul and I hadn't met. Well, that's not exactly true. Paul and I have exchanged emails, and he sent me the kindest, most encouraging, most down-to-earth human email you can imagine, especially from one of the greatest vocalists in the world. And I mean, my favorite singer. And I'm not a big fanboy of anybody, but if I was, it would be Paul first, because again, how do there's nothing better in rock and roll. And so I sang it. Paul enjoyed it. He sent me a great couple of emails. He said some great things about our performance. And then he sang and he appeared in the video. And to me, I'm so grateful that a guy like him took the time. And listen, honestly, I think I know enough about him that it's not just because Todd was in his band for years and David is his manager and my manager. It's not that, because a guy like Paul can, how many times he must say no just a day or per week.
No doubt.
And to let us do his song and to appear on it, on the recording and the video, I just can't tell you how grateful I am, because I know there's Elvis and there's the Beatles and the Ed Sullivan thing, but for from my timeline, Paul was my Elvis and my Ed Sullivan moment when I heard Rock and Roll Fantasy and you know, Blue and Gold and all these different songs that Paul did. You know what I mean? And just, my God, I don't know. I can't say enough nice things about him as a human being, away from being an artist, and just how grateful we are that he contributed to that. And it was just so much fun. And I'll be honest with you. You want to go back to that other question? I can't wait to play that one. I can't wait. We've never played that live. We just recorded it. I can't wait to take that one out and for people to enjoy it, because it's just such an old school swing. It has that swagger in it that I don't think I could have wrote it. You know what I mean? And so I'm so glad and so grateful to be a part of it.
Well, you did the next best thing, man. You reinterpreted it, in your own way. And as you said, man, the bar was set pretty high, but man, you met the challenge for sure. I mean, no doubt about it. So kudos to you. And you're right about Paul, man. He's a great soul. His wife, equally wonderful, who really watches him closely on all fronts or whatever. And they're a great tag team. And congratulations for nabbing this amazing talent. But I'll tell you what, man, it doesn't feel like one overshadows the other, man. It's a great sounding track.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I would still say, Steve, you're wrong. When Paul's voice comes in, the room lights up. It does for me anyway. I you know what? When I first got it back, when Paul first put that on there, I listened to that section. It's after the solo. It was right before. It was about. You can hear him doing no, 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 no right before the solo. Right. That's Paul. Right. And then when he comes in, I'll be honest with you. I listened to that about 40 times in a row, and not the whole song, just that section.
I get it.
And Stacey and I, we were listening to it. We were listening to it in the truck, and Stacey and I would just keep running that part back and look at each other and smile. Go, he's on our recording. That it was one of those things, and now that I've gotten used to it, I still listen to it over and over again. I'll be honest with you.
No doubt, as you should, man, and you should revel in it and celebrate it for sure, man. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to gloss over these tracks, but they all deserve wonderful time just because I want to get everything in. But Feels Good, man. Another great track. Feel good jam here, just in time for the summer. This is a great summer track. Mark that down, folks. Just in time, man. It's beautiful. Something Crazy, awesome up-tempo track. Another feel good Southern boogie romp. Great vibe. Insane piano solo, man. And here's again, if I go back to your vocal approach, man, it's really kind of seductive vocal. I mean, I love how you approach this one, and this one could serve as an anthem for all of us heading into the weekend. So you folks have got like this great new anthem for the weekend, as well as setting the table for the summer. What more could you possibly want? I'll tell you what you could possibly want. This entire album, and that's entitled A La Mode. 11 killer tracks. These guys deliver top to bottom. Truly one of the best rock records to come around in quite some time, in my opinion. Stand behind it 100%. I'll say my email again if you disagree after listening to it, steve@talkshop.live. I'll make it right if you don't believe this is a great rock record. It's that good. It releases Friday, May 8th on the Rock and Roll channel. Talk Shop Live fans can purchase copies right here, right now. And as the band's way of thanking you, fine fans, Steve and the guys have agreed graciously to sign a limited number of copies, both vinyl and CD. And to order your copies, hit the shop button on Talk Shop Live. Comment shop on Facebook, Instagram. We'll DM you a link, or on YouTube if you're watching through that platform. Just click the link in the description, and the rest is quick and easy. Bound to Run, man, another impassioned track, blistering heartfelt vocal on this one, and this has a great message, man. Speaks to the challenges of choosing or being chosen by a career that's probably the most unforgiving and unnatural lifestyles. There's no roadmaps or manuals how to navigate it, and too often it's at a cost. Really powerful track. And I want to sneak in one more. This was the first single. For those of you that haven't heard it, Brendan, if you would cue it up. This is entitled I Hope You Know. Please roll the digital.
Even falling
Oh man, great video. Visually, man, just energetic, band's rocking. Just impossible not to connect with, this one for sure, man. And just over the
Thank you.
top insane vocals, man, that owns you. Fantastic hooks. Man, it's about as close to a perfect song and construction and execution. Magnificent production too. Incredible track, Steve.
Thank you very much. That video was directed by a really talented guy in Arkansas named John Wright, and he really captured we wanted the spirit of the old James Gang or the Black Sabbath videos with the crazy green screen and that kind of thing. And John did a really good job, and we appreciate the work he did on that. And that song's my Thelma and Louise song. You know what I mean? I hope you know what you're doing. Nothing we can do about it now.
Yeah, exactly right, man. Closing track, we're going to save for the outro, but man, it's icing on the rock and roll cake, man. Hooks galore, great closing track. You guys have delivered, man, a rock and roll masterpiece in my estimation. Thank you as a fan so much. And again, I just want to remind everybody, you can purchase your copies signed by the band, the vinyl or CD, and they're limited. So once they're gone, they're gone. So don't delay on that. Hit the shop button and Talk Shop Live. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop and we'll DM you a link. Click it and the rest is easy. And on YouTube, if you're watching through that platform, just click the link in the description. And there's no greater way to show how much you appreciate this great band and this wonderful piece of music, this body of work that they delivered, than by owning a copy of this great album. So 2026, I know you can't share much more, but the good news is it sounds like it's inevitable. We're going to see the band on the road in the U.S. and coming soon to a website and posting near you, it sounds like.
It does. It'll be very soon. And I'm not trying to be cryptic either, Steve. You know how that stuff goes. I'm so excited to tell everybody. I wish I could tell everybody, but yeah, it's coming. Yeah,
you already divulged who you're upset with at the studio, man. We don't need any more, breaking news moments, man. I feel like we've exceeded our quota.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's all good. We got to save some surprises for the fans. And before we part company, I just want to thank all the fans for being here. And there's a good number of them and for their passion and support. You mentioned David Spiro, who is a brilliant manager, and he's also a good friend here at Talk Shop Live, and we appreciate his support with his great artists, and equally supportive of Talk Shop Live, Quarto Valley Records, the great people there, including the wonderful Nina Miller, and also thanks to Abby Sparks, and thanks to Ed from NPM PR and Marketing, and of course, one of our favorites is selected, it's Tiffany Couch, to our fulfillment partner, All Media Supply. Thank you, fine folks. And to Brian, Sandy, Tina, to Brad, Joe, Jenny, Lavani, Marty, Kate, and Sam, and behind the scenes doing yeoman's work, Brendan, as always, thank you for a great job. But most importantly, we'd like to thank the one and only Steve Harris for providing his musical gifts with us. And Steve, before we part company, any last words you'd like to share with the fans out there?
No, man, just thank you very much for the years of support. And I think it'll all pay off with this one. I hope you grab the album. I hope you come and see us. And thank you again for allowing us to do this on the road, in the studio, on shows like this, because without people enjoying music, there wouldn't be us. And we appreciate it very much. Thank you. And thank you, Steve, for having us.
My pleasure. And I hope this is the beginning of many more encounters here. I would be honored and greatly appreciative.
We got a food show to plan, Steve.
Yes, we do. That's my homework assignment. I wrote it down for sure, man. And I'm on a mission for sure. And folks, just order this forthcoming great new album from Hillbilly Vegas, a la mode on the Rock and Roll Channel, personally autographed by Steve and the band members. And remember, music is a gift that keeps on giving. And these guys have delivered a great gift for us as well. You'll keep coming back to this great album. Steve, thanks so much, man. Great to meet you. And thanks for delivering such a great record. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. I appreciate it very much. And again, thanks to your guys in the behind the scenes, setting everything up. They did a great job this week.
You bet, man. Thanks for sharing that. And don't leave just yet, folks. We have another great track to share with you. Stay safe, enjoy life, and rock on. So long, everybody, and so long, Steve.
Thanks.